Hello, my fellow Alaskans. I am so glad you could join me here this evening. I know I'm starting at a very late hour. Thanks to the weather and everything else that has been going on out there, I'm sure just like everybody else, we are in recovery mode. I have been dealing with customers calling me left and right saying their entire buildings are frozen up, their equipment's frozen up. What do we do? Help us out. Lots of places closed down because of it today and yesterday. And I'm glad to say a good chunk of those are all getting back up and running once again. So that's very good to hear. And I have fixed a lot of the kinks within my broadcast. Hopefully all of you guys will notice that I've been should be streaming really good sound right now and live and without any hesitation between what you see in front of you and what you're hearing. So that should all be good and worked out. Amazing what you can do when you get some chance to sit down with the technology you're trying to learn how to use. So let's get this all started out right. We've got the emergency declaration that was declared, and we're just going to get this show rolling. All right, seeing off to my right there, you can see that we definitely got some things going on in the valley. Major destruction from the wind, overturned trucks out on the highway. Oh man, frozen pipes everywhere. The city of Palmer declares an emergency, and this all came out over the last couple of days. I had most of this set up to be shown last night, just didn't have time. And here was someone out there had captured this. They opened up their door, and this is what they found packed up against it. I can only imagine what everything else looked like around there. Just amazing what you see. So there's been an emergency that's been declared by the governor of the state of Alaska. You know, Governor Mike Dunleavy declared that there's an emergency for both the Mat-Su Valley and also for Fairbanks right now. I'm sure he might end up declaring one for Juneau for some of the devastation that's been happening around there. Seems like climate change has really taken effect all over the place. Oh, the destruction, look at that. I couldn't believe the KFC out here. I went and drove by that earlier today, and I'm shaking my head. Oh, someone's camper. Look at that. Someone's camper decided to go camping without them. I thought that was so funny when I saw that picture. I had to make sure I shared it. Lots of trees down, took out a lot of power. People are still without power. They're still trying to get it all cleaned up and going. They are working their butts off. There's that KFC that I was talking about earlier. Their entire parking lot there is just nothing but shredded, and the building is totally destroyed. And there's the police department also declaring what they had seen out there. And we got lots of downed trees. The power companies are working hard trying to get all those trees cleaned up and out of the road systems. If you have anything that's available out there, we got good news. The Mat-Su Borough has opened up the dumps for all the debris that was created. Look at that semi. All the debris that was created from this windstorm, you can haul it to the dump for free as long as you're not a commercial account. Oh, look at that building, the shed there, the tumbleweeds, yes. If you know the shed place there, that's just kind of across from Walmart or Sears parking lot in that area. You can kind of get the idea of where they are down there on the road. And their sheds completely blew across the highway. The wind was blowing so bad, and we're not talking just a shed. We're talking almost their entire lot was completely shoved out and thrown out into the road there. It was quite amazing what we did get to see. And the city of Palmer and Wasilla has also declared their own emergencies, which the governor, like I said just a little bit ago, has also declared. And for all those people that were freezing, this is one snapshot before it disappears here. And that's if you ever get caught freezing in your house and you own some tents and stuff like that. You can learn how to survive like the homeless people in Alaska survive when they're outdoors, using multiple tents and putting one inside of the other with lots of warm blankets, and maybe if you're lucky enough you have a lantern that you can heat up on the inside of there and keep yourself nice and warm. And there's the Deputy Mayor of Palmer's decree of the proclamation of emergency declaration for the Matsu wind apocalypse that we had come rolling on through here. And this should be just about over with now. And we'll move on here, and I just don't know what to say. The devastation that's out here in the valley is just, it's appalling. I feel so sorry for so many families that have been displaced. The Menard Sports Center has been set up as a rescue facility, and so has the Palmer Senior Center over there. They also too. It looks like my cam didn't switch back to where it was supposed to, so we'll just hit the button here and force it to do what it should have done for me there here just a second ago, and get me back to the main cam. And so let's see. We got. Oh man, it sounds like we've got some sound issues going on here. Okay, let's see what that does for us. Man, I hate when things like this happens. Huh. Why does it always seem to do this at that way when it comes down to getting things synced up? And it was doing beautifully earlier without any interruption that I can get from my actual audio. So let me just go into some settings here and just see what is going on real quick. There's got to be something here that's causing this to cause that. And I just have no idea what it is. Alright, one more place to look at. And audio. See if any of that clears this all up. Oh man, I'm so sorry folks, man, the audio, this really does suck. I have a really good show here for all of you here tonight. So let me just move this right along, and we'll just get into the other stuff that I have set up here. Here's who to vote out, if you can hear me. Okay, can you guys hear me out there? What's it starting to begin to sound like? Hopefully things are starting to clear up. And we got our audio back to where it's supposed to be. Alright, I think I got the audio all fixed there. Do apologize for that. It's one of those things, I'll tell you what, is sometimes you just got to play around and get things turned off and turned back on again and get it all to clear right back out. I really just got to keep these things on my ear all the time now and make sure that doesn't happen. And I am returning this cam because it's not the first time it's lost the audio like that, and it's the cam itself. You would think when you spend $200 to buy a cam that you get something that actually stays running productively, but this one seems to be crashing out every time I turn around. So in case you didn't hear it, the Matsu Borough has made sure that we have free dumping for anybody as long as you are not a commercial establishment. If you're not commercial, it's all free for residential to help clean up all the debris from the Matsu wind apocalypse that had blown through. And it's really sad that we went through all of this. Mother Nature played a cruel trick on us when we're already all still just trying to recover from being locked down from COVID and not being able to earn a decent living out there, because the mainstream governments that are in control of our cities and our towns, especially in places like Anchorage, and the bigger corporations that have over 100 people, and the lockdowns that they created and still have not reopened themselves back up from, because of all of this, where we're just all really just still trying to survive. And it kind of boils down to, here this big old windstorm comes through, and as I was saying just a little while ago, I've spent most of the last 2 days doing nothing more than helping out customers that have frozen pipes and equipment, and trying to get them all turned back on, replacing water pumps, you name it. Stuff is totally gone foobar, and it was been an interesting couple of 2 days here. And so that was pretty much about it in the emergency declaration by the governor for what is going on. And I posted up the list here while I was trying to get a little bit of the camera issues fixed up and the audio going on there, that is also attached to that same camera. And hopefully that's still all resolved, sounding good on my ears right now. Hopefully it is for you. And so moving on to the next thing is the legislators, that list that I had put up there for the Alaska House and the Alaska Senate. Let's just pop it up there one more time. And who to vote out. And we got those in the Senate there. The top ones that I would pick is Senator Cliff Bishop, Senator Bert Stedman, Senator Lyman Heifman, Senator Natasha von Imhoff, Senator David Wilson, Senator David Olson, Senator Bill Wilkowski, Senator Tom Begich, Senator Peter Machicki, Senator L.V. Gray Jackson, Senator Jesse Kill, Senator Joshua Rivak, Senator Josh Kawasaki. And I'll guarantee you it's the top 6 that you see there on the top of the list. Those are who you really need to be voting out in the Senate. And it kind of boils down to about the same rate when you look over at the House. The top ones are all sitting at the top of both of the 2 lists there. That's who you need to vote out. And we definitely need to change down there in the House and the Senate in 2022 in November, and elect in people that are going to work for Alaskans, not the special interest down there. I am so sick and tired of watching the worst education in the nation that's costing double to triple the cost of anywhere else to achieve the worst in the nation. We rate worse than most of a good chunk of third world countries out there. That's how bad of an education we're providing here in Alaska. I just saw here the other day, it was yesterday in fact, that the Anchorage School District has an 8% drop in their population since the pre-COVID 2019, and that equates to about 4,000 students. That's 4,000 less students than what they needed to have in school, and they're talking about having to close down the schools this year for periods of time, forcing us parents to go into our summer months to replace the lost days of schooling, because they don't have enough teachers to teach our students. Now they got 4,000 less students that they're trying to teach, and they don't have enough teachers, yet they're still getting paid the exact same amount of money that they were pre-COVID, the $1.3 billion that they already got to spend for 4,000 less students, and don't have enough teachers there to be able to afford to get them into the schools to keep our kids going to school so that they can get the worst education in the nation from the worst ranking schools in Alaska. It is just absolutely shocking and appalling what we have to deal with on a daily basis coming from these folks and the games that they play. But somehow we got to get around it, and we got to get these folks to wake up and smell the coffee and start doing something about it. And we got the same thing with our health care, triple the costs in the nation, 3 times more here to have any sort of procedure performed than what it would cost you down in the lower 48. And I know that from personal experience. I have to go see a doctor once a year to go do a physical and get completely checked out and have blood work done. $300 for the doctor's visit to spend 20 minutes inside of the office, and another $90 to $100 for the blood work so that I can get a prescription refilled that I've already been taking for the last 10 plus years now. And lo and behold, I got to pay for this, and it's outrageous just to go and have a checkup where the doctor just goes, well, how you feeling? Thank you for filling out our form. Nope, it's mandatory that I do this. I have to see you. And yes, I got to charge you this exorbitant amount of money for you coming in and visiting us for this short little visit in our hospital that if you're down in the States, probably could have had it all done for less than $200 total instead of the $400 you're paying right now. Thank you very much for shopping at Alaska's. We rob you blind if you have to go into the hospital, and let alone we kill you too. I didn't say that part. There's a kind of irony to it all. They had the round 2 of the COVID legislative session, listening session to people about COVID, and they were out there discussing listening, I should say. There was a listening session for Alaskans to be able to go in. It was held at the Alaska Baptist Temple in Anchorage Baptist Temple. I got to get that correct. And they were listening. This is the second time that they've had this happen there. And the live stream that was supposed to be provided there was unable to be performed. I was given a call at the last minute. I wish I could have been there, but I already was dealing with other problems around the state that needed to be dealt with that was more urgent, which I was describing earlier. And so there was nobody there to live stream the listening session that they had on COVID. They had many different medical experts that were there. I would have loved to have gotten it all and been able to record it and live stream it, but when you invite me to go and do something just a couple hours before it's supposed to happen, don't pick it on a day that we got major disasters going on or in the springtime when I'm doing my major running around for the rest of the summer after that. Anyways, we've got the emergency for the COVID Alliance. They had their discussion. I have no clue what came out of that. I know that there is a second round going on out here in the Mat-Su Valley. It will be on Thursday. And if it's what I think it's going to be, I am going to be live streaming it. If it's not what I think it's going to be, I'm going to record it. And if what it is after the fact, able to put up onto Facebook or on YouTube or Twitter, I will at that point go ahead and post it onto one of those. Oh man, I got a hair or something, one of my mustache hairs going up and tickling my nose. Darn. So anyways, that is going on this Thursday, and I will see about getting something posted on that. I know if you're following the School of Government, they have it posted on there for that coming up. So please don't hesitate to go to the, there goes that darn sound again on that. So give me just a second here, and I will get the there we are. We should be back to normal again. And that vibrating, buzzing noise there, I am going to see about getting that cam traded up and traded in. That's ridiculous. I shouldn't have to reset it here to pull it and put it back in again just to get the buzzing noise to disappear. your guys' support and donations shouldn't be going into devices that just don't work very well in the end. Courtesy of your support, we are restreaming all of this right now. We are on Polititic. We're on Polititic Unfiltered, both on Facebook. And then we have YouTube at Polititic that is streaming live right now. And we are also live at Polititic on Twitter. So if you're any of your favorite channels out there, you can subscribe to all of them, like them, set up your notifications, hit that notification bell to get a ding when we go live, so that way you know what's going on out there. Do appreciate you guys all holding out for all the interference going on here. I'm really trying to work hard to get these live streams working a lot more smoother than what they have been in the past, and this one I don't think it's doing too bad, getting to understand the software a little bit better. All right, moving on to other subjects. Sarah Vance, Representative Sarah Vance, she had a town hall today in the lower Kenai Peninsula area, Homer District, listening to her representatives and constituents there and what they had to say about the upcoming legislative session. And all I can say is we got one hell of a crap show going to be happening in Juneau. The Illegal Binding Caucus that has been in control of the House is still in full control of the House. Their agenda is going to be House Bill 4006. So if you haven't looked up that bill, please look up House Bill 4006. And that is going to be what the agenda is going to be pushed by them when they go back to Juneau here for the 33rd legislative session here starting here this month. And the full intent right now is to reduce the PFD to as small as amount that they possibly can. They're going to push the exact same numbers that they have pushed for the last couple of years, giving us less than a third of the revenue that is supposed to come to us is they're going to give to us, and then the rest of it they're going to spend on the special interest. What they're going to try to keep hidden from all of you is the $29 billion that is going to be the total, grand total of what the entire budget is for this year. That is almost 1.25 times more than what it currently is right now. So if you're talking a $13 billion budget is our normal budget range, 13 billion, 13.5 is about what it came out to pre-COVID, and now that COVID has been here, we've spent close to $20 billion just in that period of time. And now we've got the infrastructure package that has been released and all of that money that flooded into the state. So you take our normal 13.5, whatever's remaining of the COVID money, and then you add all the infrastructure package money that's on top of that, and we've got a $29 billion pork-filled slush fund, special interest funded budget that is doing nothing more than social justice programs that have no business even happening. Like we're building a road through Canada that's supposed to be benefiting Alaskans. I understand we do use that road, but so do Canadians. Why are we paying for their road? We've got highways in Alaska that are in more dire need of reconstruction and being rebuilt than their roads. Why are we paying for another country's roads to be built? This is the stupidity behind the infrastructure project and the Build Back Better that the Democrats keep pushing down all of our throats. So wake up and smell the coffee. And things are just not going in the right direction down there for the Senate either. The Senate themselves is fully and 100% being controlled by the Finance Committee. Those that are in there, Bert Stedman, Olson, Wilson, Ivy Spinoza, or not Spinozals, but Imhoff, Natasha von Imhoff, and all of those folks, that they control the Senate, and they're the ones that dictate what is going to be the final budget that comes out. They're the ones that keep stripping the PFDs, the higher PFDs that always get voted and approved on the floor when it goes back to be consolidated between the House and the Senate's versions of the budget. It always gets stripped back out. So that just kind of gives you an idea of who really controls things, and look at the people that are put on that final committee meeting that compares the two bills and says this is what's going to be. Let's put a final vote on it. And guess what? Alaskans get screwed again. Special interest budgets get bloated, and the Alaska AFL, Rasmuson Foundation, our NEA of Alaska, and other organizations, they all get rich and walk away with every penny of our PFDs. Speaking of PFDs, our Permanent Fund Dividend Corporation has announced that it has reached $84 billion. We're not even done with the fiscal year yet for calculations for what the end total of the Permanent Fund Dividend is. We still got several more months to go, quite a few more months to go yet. I believe 5 more to go before they announce what the end of the year revenue totals is. I'm expecting it to hit somewhere around $90 billion. If you include everything that they have stolen from us and this year's current coming up PFD, they could take every penny of the revenue that is still sitting there and still have a surplus of sitting there of almost $3 billion after the fact. More than what they started out with at the beginning of this year, and they could pay back every penny that they have stolen since day one from our permanent fund dividends and return it all right back to us again. Amazing, isn't it? All you got to do is just a little bit of simple math, calculate how much each year's PFD was, how much they have stolen from us, how much the current PFD is going to be, and how much revenue was generated. Oh, wow, $10 billion. Oh, we only need $7 billion to be able to do everything I just described. Wait a minute, that's $3 billion more than what they need. They have a huge surplus because oil, the cost of oil per barrel is sitting at near high levels of $70 a barrel right now. They have, from what I understand, a revenue surplus. So if you don't include any bloated spending, they were to try to stay at the flat budget where they have been every single year with doing zero budget cuts. Bottom line to it is that they would have a surplus sitting there with the revenue they have coming in this year and not need a single penny of our PFDs to pay for anything to do with the budget. Whoa, oh my gosh, so we'll still have a $3 billion more return on our PFD sitting there in the Permanent Fund Corporation. That means we start out our new fiscal year after they take the $7 billion out to pay back what they owe us. They will still have $83 billion left inside the Permanent Fund Corporation to start out the new year with. Man, amazing what happens. They fix all of their theft over all the last few years. Mainstream media has no reason to understand, think that we're even lying to them anymore. Anyways, I can rant all day about the permanent fund dividend, but I'm not here to do that. I've got other things to do. We're going to flip the page here. I'm almost through with everything that I got going on. And Anchorage Assembly this week is supposed to bringing back out the voter suppression laws that they have, making sure that your poll watchers are going to be limited and that certain people get to decide who and who is not worthy. Is that Spock? Yeah. Anyways, so you guys kind of get the idea here. Yoda, help! We need your great wisdom to resolve the issues that are going on. Every time you hear a politician talk up until they leave going to Juneau and they make you a promise, we're going to go there and fight for you, just kind of keep this thought or this sound in your head as they're saying that. That is exactly what I seem to hear coming out of their voices every time I turn around. And so you guys just enjoy. Just remember, every time they make a promise that they're going to make a promise to you, they're going to go down there and fight for you. That's pretty much what they're doing. And they're just shake my head. All right, we're going on to one more. The homeless problem in Anchorage is getting worse. It's not getting any better. And, well, that's what mainstream media is telling us anyways. From what I'm understanding, some of the plans that have been implemented by the Bronson administration have actually helped improve Anchorage's homeless problem in a few different areas. Unfortunately, the Anchorage Assembly is standing in the way of any real progress. They are trying to keep to the status quo. As you look at the Rasmuson Foundation and how much money that they've helped funnel into them, and they're continuing to keep trying to funnel into them when there is the Bronson administration has proven, like with the takeover of the Sullivan Arena and the homeless shelter there, it went from one scenario of how it was describing there's nobody leaving, to where now why it's not, is it never ever showing up in the news anymore. Well, the reason why that they have completely stopped talking about the homeless shelter, even in these cold winter days, is that the Bronson administration is getting more homeless people off of the streets than that was ever accomplished under Berkowitz or acting Mayor Quinn Davidson. When you put the socialists in charge, the socialists take the money, they give it to their special interest groups out there, like the Rasmuson Foundation. The Rasmuson Foundation funnels all of that money out to all of their board members and their executive staff, and then their executive staff says, well, we got to have these employees that got to run, and that money gets divided between them. And then by the time it gets down to the homeless people, there's nothing left. That's the reason why the problem never gets any better. You've got close to 40 million of, last time I checked, last year, I think they hit close to $100 million just in regular spending for homelessness in Anchorage all by itself. $100 million just for homelessness, with all the support that they had received from COVID and from what the city normally puts in all on their own. You got to think that the city of Anchorage has like a $550 million budget, and about three quarters of that is just the school district. The rest of it is for what they use to run the city and everything else. So think about where your money is going there in Anchorage and what you're paying for. You're paying for the worst school system in the world. They're telling you that they're going to be closing it down this year, and that your students are going to have to find themselves trying to figure out, are they going to school? Are they learning virtually? Because they're reporting they don't have enough teachers, and good possibility they're going to have to close the schools down. And they don't know if they'll be able to do it virtually because they don't have enough teachers, even though they got 4,000 less students than they did 2 years ago just prior to COVID. So at an 8% drop in the student population, which equates to about 4,000 students, how can you have less teachers, not enough teachers? It's not making any sense to this person here, unless, of course, all that support that Democrats kept claiming was supposed to keep the economy up and running is actually paid for all these people to just walk away from their jobs because they can make more sitting at home than they can transporting themselves to and from to go and do the jobs that that money normally would have been paying for. Seems to be happening everywhere. One of the pictures that was scrolling through at the very beginning of this video was of Alaska AFL complaining about not having enough snow removal people sitting in Fairbanks. Why don't they have enough snow removal people working in Fairbanks? Because these people are being told by government regulations, you got to have the COVID vaccine shot if you want to be able to work. If you don't have the shot, you're not allowed to work. Well, how many truck drivers do you know out there that we're free-willed people? That's all I can say, is people should be able to have a choice. They shouldn't be forced to get a vaccine just to have a job. And if you want people to be working for you that are qualified, that have the skills, God dang it, wake up, smell the coffee. They're driving a truck. They're inside of a closed area all by themselves. Who in the hell can they... the common stupidity behind why they can't get people to work. But Alaska AFL says, oh no, it's all because we're just not getting enough money from the city to keep these people employed. It's not their policies, it's that they don't have enough money to keep these people employed. Well, they never had a problem keeping the people employed prior to this. This year is very unique. So why has it all of a sudden become a money issue when it never was a money issue before? It sounds to me like a policy issue that's caused all of that to happen. Alaska AFL-CIO doesn't care much for us. Oh, there goes the sound again. Hold on, I'm going to get it fixed real quick. All right, I know I got video back. It looks like I got audio back. Should be all cleared up there. Get that scratchy, staticky sound back out of the sound going on there. All right, much better. Definitely going to be replacing this cam as soon as I can make it back into Anchorage and let them know how bad and crappy it really is. I thought it was my equipment, but I've tried it in several different connections now, different ways of connecting it into the computer, and it's definitely the cam, not my hardware. So, moving on to the last couple of subjects here, we've got the governor. The governor came out with his budget. Mainstream media completely blew it off. They didn't want to talk about it because there's $29 billion sitting there. They don't want to talk about the bloated special interest spending that's going to be flooding into our state. So they kept their mouth shut because that's always the Democrat agenda. The far left agenda, the socialist agenda, is to spend as much of our money as they possibly can. And who cares how long it takes generations of ourselves and our children's children to pay all of that back off again. We'll just keep printing it and we'll force you to go to work to pay for it all. And one day find yourself with 80% of your income going right back into the government because no other way for them to pay for their debt. Wake up. Wake up. Come on, folks. All right, we're going to end this right here. Please like, share, tell all of your friends. We'll keep on working day by day to get all of this stuff improved for our streams, working out all the kinks. I think I've got all my video worked out. I've got the actual live stream speed worked out. Audio, unfortunately. Hold on. All right, one last time here. Hopefully y'all can hear me again. All right, now I got sound. I can hear myself. So the governor has no running mate. He came out with a budget that mainstream media completely ignored. So Lieutenant Governor, in a big speech they came out with, and for about election reform laws that they're going to be entering into the legislative session here coming up, which are going to be completely ignored because all we have is a bunch of cowards that are representatives down in Juneau for the House and the Senate. So the bill will get pushed off to the side just like they have done the last 3 years now for every special agenda that the governor has sent to them, because the certain groups like those that control the House and Senate finance, they'll never allow those bills to ever see the light of day, just like they did for SJR 6, the only bill that provided a balanced budget, paid a statutory, at least a 50-50 PFD, and it kind of broke things down to where everything was legit and a way to do it and a way to pay for it, and it never saw the light of day in either committee. They were more concerned about controlling the entire PFD, not giving what was right and fair and doing what was best for all Alaskans and for the future of all Alaskans in the future. And last couple of things, we've got Senator Mike Shower, who has been a very vocal and outspoken person here and been on the Michael Duke show. I guarantee you he's going to make a few of my videos here, and his information that he has to say and what he has to say about certain people are going to become some really good highlighted clips coming up here on the upcoming episodes as I keep working out the little kinks here in the video and part of things like the sound dropping out of there. I think I've got, like I said, the speeds all connecting, be able to hear me when my mouth is actually moving, and so they're getting a lot brighter on the day. High five for all of you that has come here today. I really do appreciate you guys coming out and partaking this late at night. And for our legislators, every time they make you a promise, just remember the sound. And for final thing that we have, go to my website, politidic.com, click that support button. All proceeds goes right back into helping us expand what we're doing, improve the camera and microphone capability that we have. We are looking at wireless live streaming equipment to where we can set up multiple cameras and microphones in different events, and like the COVID town hall that'll be happening out here tomorrow at here in Wasilla, that David Eastman and Christopher Kirka are going to be giving, listening to us out here in the valley, what we've had for the impacts of COVID over the past 2 years, and what we think of what's going to happen in the upcoming legislative session. So it's kind of open to both for that category, but it's supposed to be a COVID listening session. But I'm planning on asking a few questions that has more to do with legislation, because at this point that's more important, which brings me to the last subject of convention of state. And it's coming up here in the 2022 in November. We got to vote as Alaska. Do we want a convention of state or not? And I am 100% for a conventions of state, and I will be expanding upon that in future episodes also. So thanks again, once again, for watching all of us. And I have just a fun little blooper reel here at the very end to sound off with, and you guys all have yourself a great night.
He just parked himself. He parked himself.